Hi, my name is Steven Sitas. Today I'm going to give you a small introduction to our new product, alpha360 Retail. You can find more information about the product, its pricing, etc. at our website alpha360.biz. The important thing to note is that retail is a different product from our ERPs. You can find all the information and documentation under the retail menu. Now this is the opening screen of the application as I run it from my WinDev IDE. We can select here the type of database. We support out of the box the classic HFSQL and HFSQL client server. You can click the button here and select the directory where your classic data directory exists. Just note that we are not going to give any technical details in this video. It is just about the functionality and the user interface of the application. So let's log in. Now this is the first opening screen of the actual application, not the login. On your left hand we have the menu structure of the application. Up here, this is the POS register we are going to use. It's just called My POS. These are some quick actions, so are these on the top here. We can get more room in our Windows area by hitting the button here. It opens and it closes the menu. Now every window in our application gets embedded inside this dynamic tab. There are no windows floating around our desktop. That is a lot more easier for users to understand. And of course there are a few pop-up windows that are used when we have to select at a specific time something. Now let's go and see the functionality of the retail system. First of all, everything you need to set up is here in the system. We have the company area where we give the company name, address, contact, logo, reports, headers, etc. This is the configuration area where we add specifically, or not only specifically, default dimension values. I think you will understand in a minute. Let's go to the inventory area and say that we have many warehouses. We select here which is our main warehouse, or which is our main unit of measure, or these just help us and they act when we add things in the retail application. So it's always the first thing we do. Sales and purchases are here. Horeca, meaning our default restaurant, is here because we can have a lot of restaurants in our database. Data formatting and rounding rules, installation, database, etc. We will see the web services area in another video, in another more technical video later on. This is the setup area. This is where we give values to dimension tables. We set up from here all our warehouses, our departments, our POS registers. This is the most important thing in our installation because we can have many POS registers and they can even be distributed between them and all replicate to the same database. Let's see some of the things we have to set up in a POS. We hit the edit button. Just see that the edit screen is embedded inside the user interface. We can freely move from one tab to the other, and of course we don't lose any of our information. A POS register has an ID, a name. This is the one that we have selected because it's the default one. There are many database fields inside this that drive the way the POS register works. If you work with our demo database, most of these things are already set up so you can use them out of the box to understand the product. This is the retail area, the name of the printer, if we are using printer files, the receipt number, the refund number. Just note that we can use a POS register even to print or post invoices, folios, work orders, the default warehouses for sales and work orders, etc. This is the year and periods, the fiscal years. This can be a whole year or it can be from date up to date. These are the business objects, the payment books. This is the CRM area, the inventory area, the purchases and expenses category area, the sales area, the accounting area, the hospitality area, and the standards. Standards means everything that we don't give them primary keys, random primary keys. They come from a standard of some kind. So countries is in the standard area because its primary keys are ISO standards. Same things about UOMS, currency, and a little different, the banks area. Now, let's see some of the master data of the application before we move on to transactions. Let's close this one here, and let's go to the CRM area. We have a party. We have a default party called retail customer. Let's see. It has a name, it is a role, it is a person, not a legal organization. It has a VAT ID. This is just a general customer reference that we are going to use in all our retail sales because we do not allow credit on this customer. Okay, so let's go on. Everybody who has used one of our ERP, even our ERPs, although in version 1.0, will feel just at home with the structure of the party master data. This is the inventory area. We'll take some time here to understand the new structure of the products area because products has been totally redesigned in this version. It supports product classes and products, and actually products classes is a general product information, and product is the variation of the product class. But you can find more information about this in technical information about this at our website. It is not important for this video. So what we have here is we have 6 products. Let's see the first one. This is an ingredient. It means that it is going to be used by make to order products as an ingredient. and this is very important. It has prices, and very important here is the standard cost, and nothing else important for an ingredient. This is also a drink. This is a drink, and this is a product that has a role of merchandise. It means that we buy it and we sell it, just like a Coca-Cola or Fanta or things like this. We do not produce it, and it is not used as an ingredient anywhere in our modules. And here is what we actually sell at, we make, manufacture and sell at our restaurant or post-sales area. Let's take a look at this number one. The most important thing is that the role is make to order. It has an ID, it has a name, it must have a barcode, and IDs and barcodes are unique. If you don't work with barcodes, you just give the same the barcode, the same value as the ID. Here is the UOM. They all come, remember, from dimension tables that are added at the system area. This is our category. This is very important. This is the group area. We will see in a minute why it is important. This is the tax category, and we will see this also in a moment. Our manufacturer, if we want to keep information about it. If it's a consignment trade, we can keep information here. This is the prices area. Why is it called class prices? Because this is the same across all the classes. For all variations of a class, this is the same. So it has a standard cost, a retail markup, a wholesale markup, because we can extend the system to do wholesales not out of the box, but with the help of one of ERP products. We will support color and sizes at the variation level in version 2.1. This is the preparation area. This means that this dish is prepared at this working area at our kitchen, and it takes this time. These are the quantity areas. If we want to allow negative inventory etc., the notes, an image, things that will be shown on our web's eShop, and a logs area. Now, let's take a closer look at the buttons up here. This, as everybody probably understands, is a refresh, nothing else. It refreshes our data. Under here we see the availability inside our warehouse. Now, this one here, this button here, shows the ingredients of this dish. Let's go and add the ingredients of dish number 2. These are the ingredients here. We add it here, and we want to do an edit, and we say that we need one of these ingredients and also 2 of these ingredients. These ingredients are what make up this product, dish number 2. Let's go to the table area again. Let's go to dish number 1 and add ingredients for this dish. And we can add here. We need 3 of these, and we need 1.234. Just note how many decimal places there are in the quantity area for the construction of a dish. This is because we are probably working with very small values, we need all these decimals. We can control the ways they are worked in our manufacturing and so on. We will see this later in when we are going to actually automatically manufacture these dishes. Now let's go on and add a new merchandise product just to see how things work in more detail. Let's go and add a new product. Just see that most of the values inside our form are auto-populated because of the information we have given at the configuration area. So we can add something. We will call it drink number 3. It's got the same barcode. It has a merchandise role, meaning that we buy it and we sell it. Let's take another look at the role. Merchandise means everything we buy and sell. Make to order is what we make after an order at our restaurant area. Manufacturing, consumption, etc. is automatic by the system. What's the difference between make to order and produced? Produced means that we have at a previous date manually produced this product. Ingredient, you understand, service, incomplete, item, and ink, and a scrap. So this is UOMIS each. We are going to give it, we can change the values here, we can add it to our soft drink area. This is the VAT and the tax category. We are going to give it a standard cost of say €1, and we have whatever is your local currency. This is our markup retail, and if we want to support loyalty cards, we can give bonus points to this drink. Let's give 3 bonus points for this drink. We don't have anything about color and size. We don't want to use a preparation area for this, quantities, etc. Now, where are groups added? Again, at the system area, inventory, and product groups. Why are they important? Because product groups, other than reporting and searching, play a great role inside the POS. You can see here that soft drinks are allowed in the POS area, the simple POS area. They are active in web orders and also in the HoReCa area, meaning our restaurant. Dishes, on the other side, are not active in the POS area. It means that we cannot sell them from a simple POS. They can be ordered from the web and they are active in our restaurant HoReCa area. Ingredients cannot be sold or ordered either from the POS, the web, or from our restaurant area. Now, tax category. Tax categories have been greatly simplified in version 2 of our data models. What does this mean? This means that let's go to the product area and go to tax categories. These are our tax categories. Our tax percent is 13, and we have 3 areas of taxes that depend mostly on a customer. This is the default value for this category, it's 13%. We have in some countries in Europe reduced taxes for some areas, like in some islands in Greece, things that are 13% everywhere in Greece are only charged 9% in these islands. And of course, we can change the way this category is calculated at the restaurant or course level. How do we do it? Let's go and allow us an edit. And you can see that we could, the programmer could code around it or use a web service and this ID and the area of the customer to receive automatically from web services the actual VAT percent. So just to sum things up, tax categories are very important and product groups are also very important. Product groups, manufacturers, etc. are mostly there for search or general information things, etc. Just to clear a thing in the tax categories, because I mentioned that for every category we have three values. There is the main value, the tax reduced value, and of course there is the tax exempt value that is 0%. So there are actually two, and another one that is the tax exempt, that means tax is 0. Now let's close this and go to the area where we were working to add drink number 3, and let's save it. Just see what happens to the product. This is a browse, and we use this browse to call an edit form to add a new product. Just see that it returned to the product that we actually just added. This is something that is new and works 100% across all version 2 user interface elements. We can tell a form where and to which record it must return. And this is not very simple in this type of user interface, because you must understand that this is not something that is linear, meaning that when we add or when we call a window structure that is actually an internal window inside the WinDev application, this does not mean that we will get control after closing this form at the code that called it. This is something that it took us quite some time to make it work 100%. So this is a new feature inside the new version 2 interface, and you can read all about it in our documentation. So now that we have added this product, we can close everything, and let's go and see how we do inventory, purchases, etc. The first thing is the inventory area. Other than the products that we just saw, we have an import product area. It is actually an utility where a user can import from an Excel file his products or merchandise, etc. And this is the transactions area, the inventory transactions area. And what we mean by the inventory transaction area is not purchases, not sales, but our census or moving between inventories or adjusting an inventory. You can see here in the browse that we can select quickly the Intelver area. Let's say we want to see everything we have done today. The user interface changes automatically the from to update. But let's see the year. This is all the year. What we actually do in the inventory documents area. Let's see what kind of transactions we can do. Let's go and add one, and let's select the business object. We can do an inventory census, which means it's our census at the beginning of the year. We can add inventory, or we can remove inventory for adjusting functionality. Where are these business objects added? They are added here at the system menu, at the setup, at the general area. This is the area where we add our business objects. We see that under the role inventory census, we have a business object named inventory census. We have an in and out. We could do an inventory adjustment object just by adding one here, and this controls the way it posts the document, and it posts to general ledger if it has some kind of valid meaning. There are two very important business objects that are not included here, but are directly set up by the POS object. Let's see again the POS object, the POS register. The numbering, the functionality, etc. of our retails receipts and our work orders are directly controlled by the POS register and not by business object in the general setup area. Now, before going to the purchase and expense area, accounting reports, etc., I will go on and see what really makes this product unique. This is the POS and the restaurant POS area, and we will see why it is very different from our ERP applications. Now, let's call the retail POS. We can call it from here, or, we can call it from here, or we can call it from here. It is the same. Just note that we can open a POS register for a new many POS registers for many POS customers at the same time. This is, if you can turn it off if you want at the configuration area. So let's see, we have one POS open. It is my POS, and this area over here shows our product groups that are available in our POS area. If you remember, everything, the product groups that can exist and can be selected inside our product, our POS, our retail POS, are in the setup area. And in this, we will see that behind the scenes I have gone and changed and added the availability of dishes, ingredients, soft drinks, etc. in. They are all active in the POS, just to see more data as at this example. So there are two ways to select products in the POS area. We select a product group, and then we add with a touch screen or the click of a button the product we want to select, or we could use barcodes and it could go automatically over here if we use a barcode reader over there. We can also use a full search, hitting the button here, of all our products over here. It is the same. We can add it with a click. It goes over here. We go to the beginning of the POS script here. We can, of course, if we want, add more quantities, delete quantities. It will it will not go below level 1. We will have to delete it. So, and we can even give a gift. We can work up and down the cart, etc. This is the quantity and this is the price that includes VAT. Now, let's take a look at the buttons up here. This is the area. I can do an edit. What does this edit mean? If I want to support serial numbers, lot numbers, etc. modifiers, etc. or choose another warehouse, I can do it, or I can give more discounts over here. I can do it from this button over here. We have seen this one. This is a search. This is the customer area, where what do I do if I give the loyalty card? This is where loyalty cards translate to bonus points. This is where I do the payments. What does this mean now? This means that I can automatically, when I add entries inside my cart, these are going by default to be paid by cash. This is when I'm going to use a credit card. This is, we will see the non-distributed type of payment later on in the restaurant area, and this is the bonus points that I am going to use for this transaction. This is the loyalty card I'm going to use, if any. These, remember that we have added some bonus points on product number 3, so when I add many products of number 3, the customer gets a bonus point. But so they can be valid, they must be connected to a loyalty card. This is an area where the programmer can use to automatically code with payment gateways, and these are the approval IDs and the RRNs that are stored inside the transaction. We do not store by default any credit or debit card numbers, etc. Just approval IDs and RRNs that are returned by the payment gateway. Now this is our cart. What do? Is we just post it. It is printed on our slip, and we are ready for the next one. Let's go, another one. Soft drinks, one of these, post it, and everything is automatically done when we get paid by cash. Another one. Let's go and change the way we are. It's 904. We are going to, it's a credit card. We don't keep any information. We post it and we go on. And this is the way the POS system works. But there is more to the POS system than just this simple screen. Let's see what really happens at the end of the day or at the middle of the day. Let's go to this area at the retail area and see the documents. And let's go to the interval day. These are all the post transactions that have been posted by our system. The currency, the amount, the tax, etc. Tax is calculated automatically, and everything is posted and seen in this area, in the documents area. Now, let's say we are at the end of the day. What happens? Or we want to see what has happened to our POS area. Let's hit this button over here, and what we see now is a report of what has happened today. This is the date, this is the POS. For every day, the post keeps a sum of every document, tax, product, and payment by waiters in daily records. They are called the daily post records. So in this day, for this post, we have 3 number of post receipts. This is the amount, the clear amount, and this is the amount with tax. If we had for this date also invoices, there would be the date, the type, it would be an invoice here, the number, the amount, etc., and the post refines, etc. This is the tax by category and by product category. And this is important because we need this information so we can directly post to general ledger or replicate with our ERP. These are the products that have been sold today by this POS. We have sold 4 of these, 3 of these, and 2 of these. This is the clear amount. This is the standard cost of goods, and this is the average cost of goods sold. And this is the information by waiter. We see we don't have any information for waiters because we don't use waiters in the simple POS, but we have the type of payment. So we have in credit cards and debit cards, this is the total amount. This is from receipts, this is from refunds, invoices, credit invoices, etc. And this is the total amount for CASES. So think of it as a dashboard for your closing day. But this date has not been closed yet. It is still open. It has not been posted to GL, and it has not been replicated to your ERP. Now, let's go on and see the restaurant POS functionality before we return to the POS dashboard and do the closing, the day closing, the posting, and the posting to GL. Let's close some of the screens here. And we can open the restaurant modules. See that there are different colors for each area. The main color of the application is this light blue. For the simple POS, it is this green. For the restaurant area is this magenta, and for this POS dashboard area is this orange. If you don't like the colors, they are very, very simple to change. We have just one window with all the styles inside the application in our WinDev project. So you can change it with just a click from there. Now, this is the main restaurant area. What we do, this is the main work area for the restaurant. So somebody is always in front of this, is inside, sorry, this work area. He can select the restaurant. Remember, we have many, we support many restaurants per installation. These are the areas for this restaurant. This is the pool, and it has these 3 tables. This is the restaurant, and it has these 5 tables. Just note that we have chosen a very simple interface. We have not tried to add visually any kind of graphic objects to represent tables, areas, etc. If we are talking about restaurants that have hundreds or tens, 50, 60 tables and many different areas, this is just too confusing. We try to keep everything as simple as we can. So let's say we are opening, it's the first hour at our restaurant. We have and somebody comes at the restaurant at the table R01. This is the one that has been selected. See that there is no data here. The first thing we do is we open a folio. A folio is a general representation of a customer and a table. But it is more than that. We will see it in a minute. Let's say that somebody comes and wants to make an order at table R01. We hit the new folio. Since this has to work with waiters, we have waiters, and waiters have a access code. They are things like pins. They are simple pins, they are not difficult to enter. So we have actually in this demo data 2 waiters, one that has pin 1, so he logs in. That means that this folio will be assigned to this waiter. Now here we see that a restaurant order has been opened automatically. This doesn't mean that we must do a restaurant order this time. We could cancel it, but the table has been opened. Just see that we have a more graphic representation in the post restaurant, and if you like it, you could use it also in the general post area. So these are the only things that are available in the products groups that are available, and say that he wants this dish, and he wants this dish, and he wants 2 of this dish, and we save it. We see now that that table 01 is occupied. Here is the general information. It has opened a folio, and this folio has arrived at this hour. This is the waiter, and this is the information about the table, and here is the order he has done. But say that at the same time his children come and want to use this table over here. So what would we do? We don't want to make a new folio because this table is connected. We want to connect this table to the folio that is assigned on this table. So we choose table number 2. We don't make a new folio, we make a new order. Let's see how the system works. It says that this table does not belong to a folio. You must select a folio, or you must use what we used before the new folio. So I'm going to select a folio. These are the open folios on table R01. I'm going to select it. I'm going to add one of these and one of these and save it. Now, whenever I choose any of these tables, the system knows that they belong to the same folio. The one that has R01 and R02 table. The waiter is of course the same, and it shows what I have chosen this time. What I see under here is the orders is for all folio orders, not only for tables, the table I select here. So you probably by now understand the meaning of a folio and how it goes beyond tables. So in what kind of state is this folio? So, well, as long as this folio has not been manufactured or cancelled, or we have not given a receipt for it, we can edit it, or we can delete it. What we usually do is, what the waiter does, is that he sends these orders to the kitchen, to the preparation area. Let's go and select this one. I'm going to send it. This one also. And if you hear the sound from the background, it's because they are printing on a slip printer to the different preparation areas or kitchen areas, so they can be prepared. And we can see here that the time that they have been sent to the preparation or the work area. Sorry. I have configured the system to automatically print the orders when I do a send order. But that is not, you can configure it differently. You can just use a chef screen. Let's see the chef screen. And this is the screen, the kitchen, the prepare areas, or what we call the chef sees on his screen. He sees, if he has a screen, the orders, they are opened, the table, the amount, and the actual product orders under here. Now, what can a chef do? A chef can prepare these, serve these, but these are not important. The most important thing a chef can do is make the order. And when we mean make the order, it goes for this dish and it manufactures it. And meaning by manufacturing, it depends on the quantity and the ingredients. It creates and consumes ingredients. Manufacturing is the next step just before we can serve it or give a receipt to the customer. It is done from this button here, but if you do not want to use a chef screen, let's close it here, you can use it from a button over here. Let's go and make these orders. We go and make an order, and we make this order also. So actually what has been done is that these two orders have been manufactured, meaning that we can serve them, and at any time we can give the customer a receipt, or split a receipt to 2 or more customers. Now let's go on, and somebody else comes on this pool area here, this table. Oh, let's go here so we can see everything at the same time. And let's go and make a new folio. It's waiter number 2, and it just gets this one, saves it, we send the order, we make the order, okay, and at some time there is a problem with table R05. So the customer here asks to move to a new table. But who is the customer for every folio? Can we have his name? Can we use a loyalty card? Of course. We can hit the folio button here, and here is information about the folio, the customer. We can even click this box so we can have an invoice at the end, and then the system will work very differently, because he will ask us to select a valid customer from our CRM area. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this table and move it to a new table. I'm going to move to a new table, sorry, and it's going to be to the restaurant. This is the one that these are not available, so I'm going to move him to table 04. I'm going to select it, and everything has moved to 04 table with his orders and with his folio and with the same waiters, etc. Now, let's go on with our restaurant POS workflow, and let's see something. Let's see the most complicated things that can happen on a system. Now, let's go on and go again over here, and remember that this folio has two tables occupied, 01 and 02, and the kids suddenly want to go away. So they can free the table, but of course they are not going to pay their order. We go to table number 2, and we are going to free the table. Now the table is free. Let's go and select this one, but remember, all orders are connected to folio, to this master folio. And let's say that we want to free this one. The system will not allow us to free this table, because this table is the last table of an open folio. Open folio means something that we did, that we have not posted a receipt yet. So it will not allow us to free tables with open folios. Where are the open where can I see the open folios? We can see them from these buttons. These folios over here are open. And from here I can post a receipt for this folio or for this folio. Sorry, I can get back and I can do the receipt from over here. So let's see how I can give a receipt. I go over here, select receipt, and all products, all orders, sorry, from this folio, this one here, these two here, and these two here, are here in our post restaurant, our restaurant post. This is the card, this is the amount I have to pay, and let's say that the customer wants to pay with cash or CCC etc. This is the same as before. We just do a post. Everything is printed, and what we see is that this table is still occupied, although there are no receipts, because if you see his orders, both of them are completed, but the table has not been freed yet. Why? Because maybe they are drinking something, or they're doing a telephone, or things like that. How do we actually free the table? We go again here to free the table, and now, although this was the last customer of the folio, because it had no open orders, the table has now been freed. and let's see what happens to the area where we have the open folios. The only open folio is here on table 04. Now let's get back, select 04, and see something that is extreme, but it happens sometimes. The customer leaves without paying. How do we close the table? Do we leave him forever on table 04? No. We go, depending, we have for good accounting practices, we have to post a receipt. But remember, we don't get any money for it. But we have to control it in some way. So we go here, we do a receipt. This is what he has ordered. Remember, even when we do a restaurant post exit, we can add things, new things here, or we can remove things from here so we can use it in the next receipt post for this table. This means that we actually we can split the receipt to as many customers as we like. But let's get back to what we were saying. This customer has left hand, he has not paid. We go over here to the payments and we go to the non-distributed area, which actually means that we are going to close it. It's going to go to a special payment area, payment account inside our general ledger. It's called non-distributed, meaning you could change the name to something more meaningful for you. But what it really means, it means that this thing, that this one is not in our cash accounts. Now we can free the table right now, and we are hopefully say at the end of the day of a day at our restaurant. Now let's see what we do at the end of the day. Let's close it over here. But if we go to the documents area and see the day, these are all our post documents posted inside our retail post area. Just note that these two last ones have also a waiter for the post. Now we go to this post dashboard. This is all the information that has been posted at a daily basis, and you see that we have for waiter Steve in the payment book not collected 11:30 for the customer that left and did not pay. Now we are going to close the day. Just a note here before closing. Let's say that we have a very energetic area where we have also retail post and restaurant post, and we have different hours where we close the information. Then what we would have done at the beginning is create two post systems, one for the restaurant area and one for the retail post, so that we could individually close them at different hours. But now we have only one post, and we see that it is not closed, so we are going to close the day. What does close actually do? What it does, it does not let us do any post for this day in this post, not from the restaurant area and not from the retail area, but it also lets us to post things and replicate things at the same time. Now, let's go and post this daily information to GL. Now let's see, everything has been posted, and with version 2.1 we are going to introduce replicate functionality between the retail product and our ERP products. This will be in version 2.1, and then we will introduce a special API in the alpha360 ERPs. Now, we also have functionality to reopen a posting from GL and reopen a day if something goes wrong, and this can be done from users who have this kind of functionality. But let's see what really happened in our system right now. Let's go to accounting, to batches, and what we see is that for this date the system has automatically posted a GL batch. It has debited the cash CCC, credited our sales, and also has handled our VAT. Everything has been done automatically by the system. Of course, there are many more things in accounting, especially reports like trial balances, general ledgers, financial reports, but we will see this maybe in another video, and it's probably not the right place to see it in the retail area. If we go to inventory transactions and we do a report, let's say for today, we will see that all dishes have been produced, but ingredients have been consumed. This is because during the make order process the system treats everything automatically. Now, we have tried to keep everything as simple as we can. We want everything to work directly from one screen and at the same time be bomb-proof. That's why we opted for such a simple interface. Of course, we cannot show everything in this video because we probably will lose most of you during your views of the video. But just one last thing, mostly for those who have worked with our ERPs, we will take a little tour at the purchase and expenses area of the retail system. Just note that what we saw before about retail and restaurant post is not inside any of the ERPs, but what we are seeing, we will see now about purchases and expenses, is also in version 2 of the ERPs. Now, the first thing we can do, let's go and see a simple purchase and expense cycle, and we won't start with orders, let's start with shipments. And we can go and start with orders. Okay. Now let's go for today. we are going to order some things. This is our external, our reference. We are going to do a purchase order. Let's select the supplier. Okay, everything is going to go into our default warehouse. These things, tax, etc., come directly for our suppliers, but we can change it. Remember that taxes have 3 states: normal, reduced, or none, exempt tax. These are the sales terms, and the sales terms is not important by itself, but it just controls the payment up to date. Although the system does not, in the user interface or the business processes, the retail part of it does not support multi-currency, it is there inside the data models. Now, since we have selected the supplier, let's go to the next, and we are going to select, let's say that we got 20 of these ingredients, and the cost defaults to the standard unit cost, but we can change it. Let's say we add this one also, 23 of these, and we save it. We are not going to talk about expenses right now. We will probably see it in another video. Just note that there are different expenses and expense types that can be distributed and affect the cost of one of our product purchases. Let's save it and see that, in contrary of what you may have seen in our ERP implementation, everything is automatically posted, and there is you can of course unpost it etc, but by default everything has been posted. Now let's go and say that we want this thing, we want this. After some days there is a shipment from this. First of all, we see that we can go to the actions and we can transform this purchase order to a shipment, or we could do it directly to an invoice. Let's go and say that we can go to a shipment. This is the only one. We select the supplier. Why didn't the supplier of the why didn't the supplier default to the one that we to the purchase order that we selected? Because maybe we are going through a logistic cycle, and we do order to somebody, shipment is being done by somebody else, and invoicing has been done by somebody else. So we may need to change these roles. The purpose of the shipment is sales, and let's go to the next level. Let's say that everything has been shipped. We can change it here. We don't want to add anything for expenses, taxes, etc. And let's go, we didn't open the shipments. We see this is the shipment here. This is the orders over here. Remember that this, let's refresh it. When we first added the purchase order, it had a workflow of type not completed. Since this has been transformed to a purchase shipment, the workflow, or the I workflow, meaning the inventory workflow for the purchase order, has been completed. Let's see what happens to the purchase shipments. Let's go to the day here also. It is open, and it is open because it has not been invoiced yet. As long as the products here have not been completely invoiced, this can be in a state of open, partly or complete workflow. Now let's try to edit this one, something that a lot of users asked. We just get a notice that it cannot be modified because it has been posted. The only way we can edit this purchase shipment is by unposting this selected document. And because it comes from a workflow, when we unpost this purchase shipment, this purchase order, the workflow, will reopen again. Just let's go on and move on, and let's say that we want this to be we now get the invoice, so we can transform it to an invoice. We can select any supplier. It's up to the user to do it. Everything from here comes automatically, but of course we can change it. Let's move on. These are the quantities. We can do partial invoices, and then the purchase shipments will not, the workflow of the purchase shipments will not close. Let's see it. Let's give a quantity of 10 here and a quantity of 3 here. And let's see what happens about taxes. In sales, taxes are calculated automatically, because we are the ones that do the tax calculation. In version 1 of our application, we were doing automatic calculations also for purchases and expenses. But this had a lot of code behind it, because sometimes our calculations did differ from the calculations made from our supplier. So what we really must understand, that the tax for a purchase must always be calculated by the supplier. The only thing we have to do is just add the amounts that the supplier charges us. Nothing more and nothing else. If they are wrong, it's his fault. We of course must see them and probably adjust manually, but we must inform him so we can get a new invoice. So note that when using purchases, expenses, etc., we have to manually add the tax that we are charged by our supplier. So let's save it. It is shipped. Let's go and open the invoices. I didn't open it. It's the day to day, because I have other records also. And this is the purchase invoice that I have added to the system. Just note that the system has many types of invoices. Let's see them. Let's go to System, Setup, Business Objects, select here Purchases, Expenses, and see that we have a purchase invoice that comes after a shipment. This means that a shipment can be transformed to this type of purchase invoice. A purchase invoice that includes a shipment, meaning that there was no prior shipment, it includes both of them, and a purchase invoice that is only for amount, things like that, and has no inventory moving. This does not have inventory moving, this does not have inventory moving, this has inventory moving. The inventory moving for this one has been completed at the purchase shipment, by the purchase shipment business object. Now, let's go to the purchase shipment, let's refresh, and let's see what has happened to the workflow of this purchase shipment. It has been, its state is partial, meaning that if we go to the products area, this is the quantity used, 10 of these and 20 of these have not been invoiced. We can select the invoice. Just note that we can, if we had many of them, we can do multiple selections. So we can, in one pass, select many purchase shipments and transfer them to one invoice. We're going to select this one. we are going to use transform. We are going to select the purchase invoice, the same supplier. Let's go, this is an ID for the purchase invoice, and just see that only the quantity dues have been added by default to our products. And we can add, let's say, our tax 13%. Save it, and if we refresh it, we see that the workflow here has been completed. Now, this completes the workflow area, the inventory workflow. This was very complicated in version 1 of our ERPs. In version 2 of the ERPs and the retail system, it is about 10 codes of WinDev programming and very, very, very simple conceptual in the database model. Of course, the previous system with all the referential integrity inside it protected us under the most extreme condition. But the same happens here. Let's say that we go to purchase shipments and we try to edit this. As you know from before, we cannot edit it because it has been posted. Even if we try to edit it, we will get an error. Now, let's go and unpost this workflow so we can go and edit. It did not unpost. Why? Because this shipment has been used in a workflow. The only way we can unpost this shipment and edit it is first to go and unpost these invoices. Okay? Now, let's go. We see that this is an invoice, and if we see the posted GL area, we see that it has not been posted to GL. We can post it from here. We can select many of them. Let's select 2 of them and post them to GL. Oh, there was a problem. Why? Because this business object was not configured with a journal. Let's go to the setup. Let's go to the business object. Let's go to purchase expenses. It was this one. It's this one. And we have not added a GL journal over here. Let's save it here. Okay. Just note that the messages are really user-friendly, so you can find the problem. Now, it has been posted. So, let's go to accounting, let's go to batches, let's go to today, and these are the 2 purchase invoices that have been posted to GL. If somebody knows some things, more things about accounting etc., he might understand that there are 2 ways to post sales and inventory records in an ERP. This is always controlled by the configuration system and the type of inventory, periodic etc. That's if somebody does not see the type of transactions that he expects. And of course, all of this has been flown to accounting. We just saw it over here. This is a chart of accounts. There is a simple chart of accounts inside our demo database. And oh, I forgot something last. Let's say we go to the AP controller, and let's see what does this mean. This means what I owe and in how many days do I owe some money to a supplier. So let's go and do a payment and see how easy it is and to allocate things like this. So I'm going to payments. Let's just say today so I can see only today. Let's go and do a payment and I select, there is no payment, the supplier, this one. Let's go to next. And these are open credits for this supplier. These are the invoices that I posted at previous date. This one was on the 17th and these two were done today. I could pay him, say, 45,000, and I could pay him by cash, and I'm not going to do any allocation at this time. If I added in this line here, the allocation would be automatically. I'm not going to do any allocation. Let's see what I have. I'm going to save it and it's done. Let's go to the AP controller again. Let's do a calculating. The balance is here, but if I go to this area, I see that I have this open debit, the amount that I have paid, and these credits. What I can do, I can select this one and this one, allocate, and now the balance of course is the same, but the allocations have been completed and I have probably different days of aging that can be controlled from here. Now, before closing this video, a few comments to a rather long video. We intended to do a smaller one, but you know, things, we sometimes get carried away. Let's close a few of these. And let's go to the system area. Sorry, everything you have seen about posting to GL is controlled in the setup area. That means that if we go to inventory and go to tax categories, these are the IDs for out tax and in tax, especially if we are talking about VAT. In product categories, you will see the accounts for inventory, the sales post, the invoices. They can be different. Wholesales and sales post can have different accounts. And if we go to the hospitality area, sorry, these are the working areas, our restaurants, our restaurant areas, and our restaurant tables. If we go to a restaurant area, we can choose different price lists. So we can have a different price list for, say, the pool, and a different price list for the restaurant inside. If we just leave them as is without any value, then the default prices will work. Where are the price lists? The price lists are in the sales area over here. And let's close it here. We haven't seen it, but we have a really simple and we think of a very developer user-friendly access control system. They are deeply inside the heart of the system. They use roles. We can add roles, and these are the windows and the BPs. All the windows automatically come inside the access area and can be assigned to a role or not. We can also add here, a programmer can also add here BPs like the ones that I have done here. the close daily post and the reopen daily post that I can assign if I want to a role. Now, I think we are at the end of this video. What we want to make sure you understand is that everything in the restaurant and the restaurant post area and the closing, the replication, etc. is unique for the retail project. It is not included in one of the ERPs. On the other way around, the ERPs have full functionality for the sales cycle if we are talking about wholesalers or manufacturing, etc. Just note that there is no sales cycle like orders, etc. in the retail model, just like they are in a classic ERP. Thank you for watching, and the next videos will be more analytic from a programmer's view. Thank you very much.